to say. Give a round of applause for Jenna, please. Oh, on there. How do we full screen? Technical difficulties?
Should have already been full screen.
Well, I unfull screened it.
Yeah.
Did Taryn full screen it or did you? Taryn did it.
Oh. Okay.
Dost thou need some
And
help?
now that it's been bumped, we're off the.
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so you are fired. You guys want to see what they're doing?
Right here. Start from the beginning.
And then I just.
And then just with the arrow key. Thank you all for waiting.
I'll get some lights.
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
Good,
You guys
good.
good? Yeah? Good. Okay. So, can you guys see that? Yes.
Yeah.
See that? Okay. So, my name is Jenna Allen. I am a certified life coach, and today I am going to be a little vulnerable with you guys because I feel like as a life coach, not only is education important, but life experiences is just as important. And so I'm going to share with you my story on how I became a life coach and what I'm doing now and how I've overcome my story. So before I show you the next slide, I'm going to tell you that I was bullied in high school. I had epilepsy. I was 4 when I was diagnosed with epilepsy. I don't have it now, thank God. But unfortunately, I was forced into Skills for Life class, so people would call me, not the nicest names. And teachers would do my work for me. I didn't know if I was supposed to graduate or not. And so that was really hard on my family, but I actually did graduate. And I passed my grade 12 exam, even though people didn't think I was going to, but I did. And then so after I got bullied, I became a heavy drinker. And I starved myself, I lost a bunch of weight, I became friends with not the best people. I had really bad codependency. I had like struggles with boundaries and I just didn't respect myself. And I really wanted to fit in, and I started smoking weed all the time. Like my family and friends were like, "What are you doing with your life?" So it wasn't easy. I became popular after I graduated because I had like 30 or 40 friends, and I was on my high horse. I was cocky, not gonna lie. I thought I knew everything, and people on Snapchat would be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "I'm good, I'm not doing anything wrong." But I didn't know it at the time. When you're young, you think you know everything. But I did overcome it. I ended up, this was my party phase as well, by the way. So this was, as you can see, there's a picture of me smoking out of a bong. Sometimes I look back and I'm embarrassed because it's just not who I am anymore. But I also use it as an opportunity to learn and grow, because I think that that's all we can do is learn from our mistakes. And so I started drinking from 2015 to 2019, and that's I moved to Alberta. And this is also this is part of my party phase as well, my cocky attitude, as you can see. I thought I was top shit. And when I look at these pictures, I don't recognize myself in a good way. I'm not that same person. One of the things that has helped me on my growth journey is therapy. I think everyone should have therapy. It changed my life, and I am a Christian as well. So that has been part of my transformation, is having something to believe in. I don't force my beliefs on anybody, but God has helped me a lot, and it's something that has gotten me through the darkest days of my life. And I think one of the most important things about growth is owning your shit. Excuse my language, I'm sorry, but taking responsibility for what you're contributing into your life. And as I said before, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. So anytime someone would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing." And I think the hardest part of growth is sitting in your own trauma and sitting in your own pain and be like, I screwed up. I need to fix this. This isn't right. And so I had a best friend, which is also during this, that we were best friends for 4 years. She was my best friend, and I moved in with her, and we became very codependent on each other, and I lost her because I was changing into someone. I didn't want to be living with her anymore. Like that, I was in therapy for over a year because I was grieving my best friend because she did not want to join me on my journey, and that was hard. That was a really hard part of my journey because I loved her and we did everything together, but at this point, like I wish her nothing but the best. I don't have anything against her. But I feel like at this point, like I have learned a lot in my friendships, but this is definitely part of the friend, like all this phase right here, that was when I was friends with her. And then this one is a touchy subject for me because, as I said, I struggled with codependency really bad. I'm still breaking cycles. If I'm going to be honest, I'm not perfect, but I'm still breaking cycles. I'm still learning. I'm still growing, as we all are. And healing never stops. You know, it's a journey. But I was in a 3-year relationship. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because it's pretty dark, but it was abusive, and there was narcissistic traits on his end. And it took me about 3 years to leave him. And like these pictures were when I was in different relationships. I didn't know how to deal with it, but drink and smoke weed, or I would just self-destruct. And so now, I've been single now for almost 6 months, and I feel like it's been the best decision I've ever made for myself because since that relationship, like I've grown. Even my best friend can say, like I really have come a long way, and I know my worth, and I know what I want, and I'm at that point where I'm not just gonna jump in because like I'm not gonna keep repeating the toxic cycles that I had. And I also had to look at myself and realize what I was doing in that relationship. I was like, okay, well, no, it's not all him. Like, what am I doing that is attracting these people in my life? And that's a hard pill to swallow. It really is. But this is one of the close to the last slides, but so this is where my growth journey started. I moved to Alberta. I left my ex-best friend. I moved because I've always wanted to try Alberta. And that's when I started therapy. I've been in therapy for 4 years. And I've had a few different therapists, not gonna lie, like I've had a couple different ones, but one of the things that I had to overcome was, I remember a session with my therapist when I first moved to Alberta, and I told him all about my ex-best friend. And I had to sit there and I had to literally say that I was abused and admit how bad that friendship was and sit in that pain, and it was really hard. And so he kind of had me do my own personal work and stuff on it. And then I ended up living in, so actually, the one thing I also wanted to mention is one of the hardest things was I went from partying with 30 plus people to COVID hitting. I moved right before the pandemic, and I had nobody. Like, I had to completely transition my life and get used to being alone. And I had my ex at the time, I had my sister, I had maybe a couple friends, but that in itself, going from being cocky and being validated and going from being cocky and thinking you know everything and partying and always having something to do to being isolated and COVID hitting, that was a huge awakening for me. But it also made me realize what I had to work on. And so, as you can see, if you notice from the previous slides, you can kind of see in my face, I would say the bottom picture of me with the hat and the red hair, that was in, I want to say 2021, because I moved back to BC the end of 2021. And like this one with me in the dress, that was in 2022. And so I feel like just in the last 2 years from 2020 to 2022, even that I've changed a lot. And then this is 2023 to now. So one really cool thing I'll actually mention to you guys, I got to meet Chad Michael Murray. I got to actually go on one of my dream trips. My point is that like I've always wanted to achieve big things in life. I've always wanted to like travel, and I manifested it. And as much as I'm a Christian, I am a firm believer in like manifesting, like the law of attraction and stuff. But as you can see, like from 2023 to now, like I do feel like I've come a long way. And so one of the things that I want to tell you guys today is like, for me, like one of the things that I offer is I offer a lot of mindset and like self-awareness and boundaries for my clients, because I feel like our mindset, and I say this on all the podcasts that I go on, but our mindset is based on our experiences. And I feel like that's just like what I believe in, is when you go through a toxic relationship and then you go into the world thinking everybody's bad, you're just gonna attract more bad people. Like it's important to like train your mindset. And so that's something I've really overcome in my life, is like really being mindful of how am I showing up to the world and what am I attracting? Because if you're attracting something toxic, it also might be because you haven't worked on something, right? Like, and that's something I had to learn. And so I'm very, very passionate about my clients. I'm very good at feedback. I'm very like compassionate. I'm very, what's the word? I listen, right? And I feel like with my one client that I do have, like we're on this journey together. You're not alone. Like I've been through it, and yes, I have my certification, but everything that I've gone through is what I teach my clients. Like I'm like, hey, like I've gone through mindset problems, like let's fix this. And so if you guys do want to know more, or you guys want to like know more about like kind of how I coach, I do have Instagram, I do have TikTok, I do a lot of stuff on there. But I also teach my clients about self-love and boundaries. Boundaries is so important. I don't know how many times I've struggled with that too, and it's not a walk in the park, because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, but boundaries is the key to any healthy relationship. And that's something my mom has taught me, that's something that I've learned, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm perfect at it, because I'm still learning how to set boundaries, but one of the things that I've done on this journey is I like to read self-help books and listen to podcasts. I actually just watched Mark Manson's documentary last night. It was really empowering, but for me, I think everybody's story is different, and everybody helps themselves in different ways, and therapy and God has been a huge change in my life, and I'm still in therapy, actually. That and just like looking at myself, and I do a lot of reflecting. Reflecting is like a daily routine for me. I'm always thinking, and I'm always trying to improve, and I'm not perfect by any means, but I have a much healthier relationship with alcohol. I barely ever drink. I have a much better relationship with my friends. Like my relationships have improved when it comes to my friendships, and like I think that if I didn't have therapy, there's no way I would be where I am today, and I'm still learning, right? Like I said, nobody's ever gonna stop learning, but if you guys do want to learn more, I do have brochures back there. I do offer low-income housing, or not low-income housing, sorry, low-income deals. Low-income deals, and if you are on disability or whatever, like I do have low-income options. My prices are fairly reasonable. There's like different packages and stuff, and it's very self-paced. So like I kind of give my clients like personal homework based on their needs, basically. Like I have one client and he'll pay for like one thing, and I won't hear from him for like a month. Like it's very, very, very self-paced, which is what my clients love too. Is like it's like your journey, not mine, right? So I'm just here to support and be like a guide, I guess, right? And so I have seen amazing growth in my one client. We've built like a good friendship and stuff, and he's come very far in his life, and I'm really proud of him. And that's one thing I love about what I do, and I'm also trying to transition now into motivational speaking because I don't want to just help people one-on-one. I want to help people all around the world. That's my goal. But yeah, like if you guys do want to learn more, my brochure is just over there. And yeah, thank you for having me.
So that was your first speech?
Very first.
Very first speech. Hey, look, I was looking for this. All right. So we're gonna do some